38 years ago, I was a gun-toting, dirt bike riding, cow pasture pickup truck driving conservative teenager living in southern rural Oregon on a 20-acre farm. We survived by subsistence hunting and fishing and gathering our own food and things like that. We were pretty poor, actually. And I entered a competition called Voice of Democracy. My Reagan era loving Christian girl self absolutely had so much fun with that competition because if there is something that even to this day I love, it's America. So, for the 250th anniversary of the United States of America, I want to read you what I wrote all of those years ago. And some of it still stands and some of it doesn't. I've moved on, but let me share it with you today. The train racing through the Rockies, the wild, wild West. Home, home on the range, the Lone Star rider all alone out on the range where seldom was heard a discouraging word. Many things were considered to be American, but I think these following words sum up America the best. Industrial, hardworking, wild, intelligent, and alone. We were held together as America the beautiful. We are beautiful because we care about each other and stick it out through thick and thin. During the Civil War, we mended our disagreements. During World War I, we were brought together in a way we never knew existed. Our men were gone, and we depended on each other to provide jobs and artillery for our fathers and brothers joining together to fight the injustice of World War II, where people were getting killed, and it was wrong, and we let Hitler know. That has such meaning for us in this time, doesn't it? Let's continue, shall we? You see, we're a family that can never be pulled apart. To many immigrants during the Great Immigration, we were and are a land of promise and dreams, fulfilled by what we stand for. I hope we'll stand for those promises and dreams again. Remember when we were simple, hardworking people who wanted the best for their neighbors and families. It was a time of helping an elderly woman cross the street, a time when you sent your daughter next door to get a cup of sugar or an egg, when every family went to church and Sunday strolls were still common, when the ladies of the town sat on the veranda sipping tea and playing cards while the toddlers ran under the water hose. Jobs were plentiful, when the terms unemployment, poverty, welfare weren't needed or even mentioned. Now, don't get me wrong. I know there had to be someone who washed the restaurant dishes and folded people's laundry just to make their living. But the town of San Francisco, Chicago, and New York weren't half populated by poverty-stricken people. Hunger and need weren't the government's main problems at the moment. Now let's just take a moment here. Remember, this was 1986 or 87, somewhere around there. And that story, that section I just read there, was not true. What I want you to know is that that 15-year-old girl, she loves America, and she is still here. And she loved America so much that when she learned that this story had been perpetrated and spread as lies, as untruths, sometimes as manipulation, sometimes not, right? This is just what we were told and what we were taught when we were young. But when I learned that it was untrue, I was devastated. I was heartbroken. I was crushed. But here's what I want you to hear. I was wrong. I was wrong. And that's okay to be wrong. And I'm here to tell you that if you believe those kinds of stories too, that's okay. You were told those stories. Somebody said them to you. And man, that is a nice picture. I was telling that story right around the time that Reagan was talking about the shining city on a hill. And I believed that. That was my life. In Southern Oregon in the 1980s, I don't think we had any African Americans at my school. I had no idea that the world was different for other people because when you are inside the colony, there is no view to the outside. There is no way to see what the truth might actually be. So when somebody says, hey, that's a lie, it's really hard to see how that can be so because surrounding us in our everyday moment, that is the truth. And that story was the truth for a very, very small section of people. But the 15-year-old who wrote this story, who wrote this poem, she also grew up to end up on welfare for a little while. And ultimately, she became a social worker, which is what I am now, right? I'm a clinical social worker specializing in complex PTSD. But the program that I went to was also diverse. And it wasn't just diverse of types of people, but of ideas. And that exposure to all of the ways of being in the world. And some are perpetrated by people looking just like me. I don't know if all of them have pink hair or not, but it's okay if this is the story that you believe is true. And it's also okay if you're holding on to it because the truth is horrifying. I get it. I get it. But America, we are stronger together. We have so many things that we agree on and that we disagree on, and we fight and wrestle and struggle and strive. We always have, because America has always been built on two truths. One of those truths is that we are the most compassionate, hardworking, devoted, loyal people in the world. I believe that. The other truth is that we are also founded on a nation that committed genocide. We enslaved another race while we murdered another one. That is also true. You cannot have one America without also acknowledging the other. So I don't know if we're going to make it another 250 years, but let me tell you how the story ends. America, I know we are in a slump, but when we realize how much we need each other, we'll pull together once again. America has always existed and always will. No matter what we may go through, I do believe that America, the America that once was, can still be. All we need is a little reminding. One thing for certain we must never forget is that we are one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, America, for all you've done for me. I still believe that. And you may notice that I removed the under God component of the allegiance there. And that's because under God was actually not added to the Pledge of Allegiance until 1954. The original Pledge of Allegiance never had a religious element to it whatsoever. So I have returned it back to its original state. Our future lies on the other side of this day, of this moment. And if you're looking for a few voices of inspiration lighting the way out of this dark, dark time, I have found a lot of hope in reading people like Derek Black, who wrote Rising Out of Hatred. or the Tara Westover story called Educated. So DM me if you need a little helping hand, because you're America and I'm America. We're all America, and we're better together. Happy birthday, America. You are 250 years old, and I still love you as much today as I did when I was 15.